Javelins, freelancers, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another AnthemCast. I am one of your hosts, Ogaz, on this mighty demo weekend for everyone all to see. And of course, joining with me from the other side of the world is a man who was once a fan of Colossus, probably always a fan of Colossus, but more importantly, is a bit of a superstar for the recent week and the love that you got from your recent engagement with EA UK. Please share, Mr. Binary Nom.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning, everyone. Yeah, man, Friday was cool. Complete surprise, but yeah, Friday was cool. It was good.
So tell us, so what did you get up to? What was the, if people missed the stream?
People missed the stream because they were too busy playing the demo. They're basically...
Well, that's what I thought. That was odd when they said we're launching the demo with this stream. I'm like, but wouldn't most people that actually care about the launch of the demo be playing the demo?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
but it's for
they do it?
But it's for the people who weren't playing the demo and the people that are still downloading the demo and stuff like that. I think it was still alright views. I think it had, I think it had just short of 1,000 or 800 views concurrent. But yeah, it was just basically a filler, just to act as if the servers were down, people had something to go to, because they had some level of anxiety towards whether the actual demo was going to just run. So yeah, it was a really good experience. I got to sit down with Adam, as well as Kyle and Steve as well. So yeah, it was pretty cool for like 90 minutes. It was a nice experience, and I appreciate it.
And you mentioned it was quite an interesting experience because I think you kind of, and we kind of forget this because we're so, I guess, emphatic about the title and have been for so long that we kind of make assumptions and we forget that you're pretty comfortable with the game. You're pretty comfortable with the knowledge and the ideas, and you've played it quite a bit. And when you meet a lot of people from EA, for example, there's no assumptions there. It's not like everyone at EA has played the Anthem game completely.
No.
In fact, you found the quite opposite.
I found the exact opposite. So the two guys sitting next to me, well, one of them, he was the community manager for FIFA, so he had never played the game before, to the point where I was literally having to tell him the controls, which is fine. It's quite cool, but yeah, you have to realise sometimes when you become so engrossed in a game that not everybody is at the same position that you are, which is cool. But it was cool and fun experience, and there will be more of those, which is nice to know. So there'll be more opportunities to do stuff like that.
Yeah, it was very exciting indeed to be on the official Anthem Twitch. That was something very exciting when we heard that was going to happen. And of course, man, I mean, this weekend it's open demo time. It's open season. The VIPs are no longer so important as they once were, and the general public have been getting access. I've been playing a little bit more this weekend, in fact, than I got to last weekend, so that was good. I've pretty much decided against Colossus for now. I don't know, what were your thoughts on good old Colossus?
Yeah, that seems to be quite a common thing, actually. So, like, the Colossus, unfortunately, and I think the Colossus has actually been let down quite heavily in this demo.
Yeah.
Because the Colossus actually is a tank. The problem is, he's not a tank at level 10.
No.
So he doesn't really become a tank until you really start pushing those boundaries. So you start hitting like level 20 or higher. Because you just don't have the inscriptions, which is actually a real shame. So yeah, as you know, I'm a huge lover of anything Colossus. I just wish they were a bit better towards it, but unfortunately, that's the way life goes.
Yeah, it's a trick one, isn't it? It seems to be. I mean, they have mentioned, Ben Irving did reply, and a few of them on Reddit as well, that they are still looking at, in particular, the Colossus. So they have heard people's concerns with the squishiness, shall we say, of our good. I was going to call him a Titan then. Wow, of our good Javelin Colossus. But yeah, I gave him some time, and maybe it's because in my head, because I've been playing, I keep going back to Inti and been playing with Interceptor since way back with playtesting. I'm just emphatically used to the movement of that. I kept getting smashed constantly with Colossus because I kept wanting to maneuver in, maneuver out, and just get out of jail, you know, if I had to. And I just couldn't. And I think it's just because I'm just so used to that. So for me, I'm really thinking. I didn't think I'd think that way, but yeah, Interceptor and Ranger right now are probably my favorite, and I'm going to hold on to those, I think, for the moment. But I've been really curious to see how the balancing works out, and in particular, how, you know, if Colossus is well geared, what kind of performance we can expect from that. Like, you know, if we're talking level 30 Colossus, which, by the way, you played. You know, you played the level 30 Colossus in your playthrough of Temple of the Scar, which was that capture. What I mean, because if you recall, our conversations and previously was that almost it was the opposite. Colossus, you know, historically back in 2018 was almost overpowered.
Yes.
You know, and now we're kind of going the other way. Where was he at in that last endgame content at level 30? What was your thoughts on that?
So I would say, yeah, they've definitely done some tweaking. So it's no longer the OP tank. There's definitely some vulnerability points there, right? So when we played, it had a shield and HP. Like, they've completely taken away the shield now, which makes sense, right? It doesn't need to have a shield if you've got enough HP on there. So your playstyle, you just have to be a little bit more variable with the playstyle. Make sure that you're on those different points, which is fine.
But for the moment, if you are sporting the Colossus, you need to use that shield. You're going down. And of course, our good friend Pete TT always agrees, isn't he? Yep, what did he say there? Having been on the Storm, I couldn't get used to the slower play style of Thick Boy. Yeah, man, I totally agree. Yeah, and the funny thing is, you recall we did a poll on this. You know, what 2,500 votes, I think, were in on that, and without you know, the unanimous decision was Storm. Storm had a significant lead by a good 10%, I think, on the other three. I did a video on that, and then sort of came to the prediction that Colossus would actually be the favourite choice. Yeah. And it's still hard to know, right? Because, I mean, we can talk about VIP demo, we can talk about open demo, but we need to also assume that when the game drops, there's a whole wealth of audience that's going to hit this game that hasn't touched the open demo or VIP demo. So it'll be interesting to see, and that's why I did that video on the psychology, because I actually think the accessibility, the appeal of Colossus is more there for the average player.
Yeah, that's right.
Not so much, a lot of people got confused. I mentioned the soldier from Mass Effect, and it wasn't so much that the soldier is the nearest class, but more so people jump in and go, what am I going to pick? Oh, the dude with the guns who's tanky and big, I'm going to pick that. Yeah. It's just kind of easy and fun and bombastic. And when you see it in gameplay, you know, like we've done some of those trailers, and you know, you remember the music, we've synced different music to some of the Javelins for a bit of fun, and I couldn't think of anything but heavy metal for Colossus. Like, it's just and it just works. And I think that emphasizes the fun that Javelin represents. So the fact that he's squishy right now doesn't mean he's going to be squishy at final game, but I'll be curious to see how that you know, that shifts and bends at final release.
Yeah, the key point there is Endgame. So you know, the key point is Endgame, and unfortunately, we're just not really seeing any of the build diversity. We're not seeing any of the build diversity that you're going to be able to get with the Ranger, Storm, Interceptor, or the Colossus. So it is just a quick demo. So yeah, it's exciting to see what happens.
It is, and I think it's also where we're going to start to find out, and we're going to talk about this shortly when we talk about Elder Game and some of the conversations around that. Of course, with the 1st of February embargo, we were able to launch a few different topics, and obviously Endgame and Launch Bay and a few things that we've done, and of course a lot of the content creators have. So we'll talk about that shortly, but it is interesting to see, as you say, where that build conversation will be. I saw only this, I think early this afternoon, someone commented to a build that they'd worked out on the Tyrant Mine, and I believe it is the three rangers with three rangers using muster. So they're shielded, and Interceptor engages the what's the damage point amplifier? I can't remember the name of it now. I've gone blank. But anyway, the ability that amplifies the damage, and enabled that. All four of them had the Devastator sniper rifle, and in about 15 seconds they took the Swarm Tyrant to half health.
Wow.
And that's the epitome of, I think, what that conversation is going to be about.
Yeah.
And that's a hard one because not everyone, you know, I think if you say that to a lot of people, they're not going to go, oh my God, that's awesome. They're going to just say, what? I'm just flying around shooting stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so it'll be interesting to see that Diablo, you know, esque style, how that comes across to the average Joe, and whether or not they engage in that. Because I don't know, man. What do you think? There's a lot of stuff going on screen. Do you think the average player is looking out for combo moments, or is this going to be more hardcore?
I think they're looking for both. I think the average players will be looking for both, and I think this is where the game will start to really shine. Is those moments of comboing attacks along with very specific builds to specific weapon types or specific damages. This is what this game is going to be all about. It's about how high can I push those damage numbers, and how sexy can I look doing it.
Speaking of sexy, I think the one thing that I think it did surprise me, but it kind of didn't, because I remember when we first saw the personalization elements of Anthem in October, and I struggled with it. We were trying to adjust, and back then the UI was still needed a bit of work, and to be fair, I think it still does need work, and I think BioWare is aware of that as well, but from feedback from the community. But it's pretty clear, man, people are loving the personalization. Like, it is a fashion fiesta right now.
It is a fashion fiesta. Like, everybody is literally loving the ability to spend so much time just playing around with fashion, like I'm doing right now.
I mean, again, I'm surprised, but not surprised. But it's quite clear. We saw back in November when BioWare did their stream on personalization, and that's when we all went, oh, this is something. And you can see how in the development process they've selected, and you can, like, when they've actually built the Javelin, they've created the models for the Javelin, they've consciously created them in the context of the personalization elements, and holy crap, I think they're onto some magic. People are tweeting the F out of this stuff. Our Twitter is melting at the moment, trying to keep up with it, and trying to, I guess, champion community designs and color schemes, and coming up with cute names and putting silly quotes on top of things. It's fun, dude.
It is fun. And I think that's just the other element, though, isn't it? People spend like hours and hours doing lots of customization, like I'm doing now. I'm unfortunate enough to say that I've seen some of the variations of the physical suits, the unlocks that are coming, and some of them are just so unreal. And the fact that you can mix and match, like the fact, I don't know if people can see on stream, but the fact that I can go into arms and I can unlock a different set of arms, I don't have to choose the whole suit. You know what I mean? Right. Oh, I've run out of coin. Ran out of coin. But the fact that you can choose independently different, it's just, and then choose the colours that want those, and then choose vinyls that go on top of that. To the nth degree, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Giselle just mentioned your mic might be a little low there, Binary. If you can, if you can pump the numbers, those are rookie numbers, man. You gotta pump. You gotta pump those numbers, dude.
There we go. Right, that should sound a little bit better.
What else we got going? Oh, Classic Ninja has jumped in. He says, same here. I have two-manned a stronghold on hard mode as Colossus and Storm. What? Really? What was that at level 15, Classic Ninja? And what was your build? How did it go? That sounds exciting, dude. That's impressive. On hard with two. So that means 2 dropped out. You must have started with 4 and 2 dropped out. Did it not lock up? Did it let you through the checkpoints through the stronghold? So many questions for you, Classic Ninja. Got to keep up.
So many questions.
Yeah, I think I asked like 15 questions from them. But anyway, we'll chill for the response. It's a slight delay, of course, with good old Twitch. Waved Panda, how are you both doing? We are doing splendidly, sir. Thank you for joining. Also, are you ready to face the most likely storm? Yes, good point. Right. So, of course, BioWare announced that this afternoon, well, Monday for me because I'm in Australia and we're in the future, dude. Catch up.
They are in the future. Well,
There's going to be something magic. There's going to be something magic. And what do you think, Barney? What do you think is the magic? They haven't said what it is, but they said, be ready for the afternoon. Something's going to happen.
That's right. And I tell you what, I've tried so hard to get some insider information, and it just, they were just not giving. And actually, a lot of people don't know what it's going to be either.
No.
So all they can, I've said, like, what time?
Asked BioWare employees.
What time on Sunday do people need to be online? And they're like, just be online at some point over the Sunday afternoon. So basically, at any point where this show finishes, from 12 o'clock till around, we reckon probably 5-6 p.m. Everybody will simultaneously see something happen. That's what they're saying.
And these are those little magic, those moments of magic that I think, when we spoke to John Warner, when was it? Back in August, we interviewed John Warner. Yeah. We've got to get him back, by the way. We'll get him back probably after launch, obviously, or maybe, hopefully, sometime soon. I know they're really busy, so it's really, we don't like to to bother them. But he did mention that point where we talked very specifically about those moments where in environmental, and in this case, since then, we now know the word cataclysm has been used pretty frequently. So a cataclysmic event or a shaper storm or something that's going to have some grandiose impact that can actually shift either parts of the world or change elements of that section of the world in quite a way that I don't think we've seen before. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So are you expecting a shift here, or like a weather change, or what are you thinking? A portal opening up?
Do you know what, dude? I've got no idea. And I don't even know what a shaper storm is. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have these thoughts of what a shaper storm is, and they've definitely not been confirmed. But for me, a shaper storm is going to be a global event.
Yeah,
and we will literally see, the landscape of the game that we're playing in change. New area becomes available, or something like that. Are we going to see a change in public events? Yeah, we know we've got the weather systems. I don't know, dude. I'm genuinely excited.
It's telling when we talk about the lore of Bastion as well. We know that Bastion in itself, it's almost, you kind of need to think of Bastion as almost like, it's not a very good comparison, but I kind of think of it a little bit like like a Unicron from Transformers. Like, not that it's going to transform into a robot, but the shapers, the technology and the relics have sort of so embedded themselves so heavily into the planet that it's almost configurable. And the shapers literally can do that using those conduits, using those terminal towers that we've seen open up in the trailers. There's a lot of excitement, I think, that could happen today. It may be not so significant, I don't know. Pete TTT makes a good point. He says, I hope we get a shaper storm that changes the whole world, Arctic and desert. Perhaps not to that
that's
extent,
right. Actually, Pete and I talked about that, because we talked about that, where, if you look at some of the promotional art, right, and we know, because we haven't seen the rest of the world yet, right, we're limited to 2 areas. But in the art, we actually do see desert-type biomes. We see jungle-type biomes. So I know there was an interview with Mark Durar where it was like 101 questions, where, and this was probably a year or so ago, where he did say, no, pretty much everything's going to be sort of the Anthem, like Pandora type of look, right? But maybe shaper storms will change the type of biomes that we see across different areas. That would be pretty cool. But
regardless of what it is, it's certainly clear that I think BioWare are going to be dependent on that, as in terms of future game content and content. It really does allow them to shape things up a little bit for future conversations. That's going to be exciting.
What's that? Malta Shotgunner. Andrew, is it just me or getting kicked from the servers? No, there's still a known bug, dude, where like if you leave an activity, like there is a chance, a little bit like an epic rare drop, right? There's a chance of it happening. It just depends on if you have good RNG or bad RNG. I would say that from my
Binary's
perspective,
putting the sales.
you clearly have good RNG, mate. That you keep getting kicked out. So I would just roll with the fact that you have good RNG.
And speaking of which, it's a good point to bring up, because obviously there's been a few, not as many, I suspect. You tend to hear from the people sort of with the challenges less than the people that don't. No one goes on Twitter and goes, by the way, servers are awesome this week. No. But we are seeing certainly still challenges, and I myself saw I think 5 attempts personally at a stronghold in the last 24 hours, all of which failed for different reasons. So it's pretty clear that things like rubber banding, where your character suddenly is in another position, crashes, disconnects, etc. These things are still occurring. But of course, we need to remember that there's 2 frames of mind here. The first frame is that this demo didn't change from last week that significantly. Yep. There was some patch updates, and it was a 250 meg patch, I think, if I recall. That did some
on console, yeah.
Yeah, and primarily was addressing a lot of the Xbox problems that were happening last week. But so that's the first point, is that obviously we're still at the same build relatively. You're not going to see those things change overnight. And most of the things that have been brought up, BioWare have replied and sort of said, well, these are things we're aware of, or they're already 6 weeks old adjustments, or they're not going in the live build, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. But the other side, the unforgiving side to me then says, well, that's fine to me, because I know where we're at and I'm rational. I'm thinking about the progression from where we've been to where we are now. But the average Joe Schmo who's jumped into the open demo this weekend, what are your thoughts, man? Do you think people's perceptions are going to be impacted by this in terms of the future?
I don't know. I think everyone's sort of. I haven't played an online game that has involved multiplayer that hasn't had problems in its first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, I'm old enough and wise enough that I've come into this world with the expectation that I'm going to have a few problems. Even when I was on the Anthem Twitch channel on Friday, even they were like, dude, we've got a plan, we've got a bunch of B-roll if we can't get into the servers, right? So, look, I've just tried to load in. I don't know if you're watching that in stream, but I'm trying to load into free play and I just got kicked out. So, and I'm on PC, right? So, it is what it is. It happens. But at least it's not the infinite loading screen. I think that's probably what the patch did, right? So stop you being in the infinite loading screen, it just kicks you out. Yeah.
I wonder what impact that had on people's perception of Sarah Schachner's wonderful music for that menu. Because I remember thinking, I love this version of the theme that we've heard before, but I'm assuming when you've heard it for 8 hours, it probably gets me much.
Yeah. What's that, NJX? In my opinion, most damage was done during the VIP demo. Many people jumped ship or cancelled their pre-orders. I don't know what world you're living in, dude, but most people I know did not cancel their pre-orders. But yeah, okay.
I think that, and to be fair, that was a more closed conversation. I think this is, I know what you mean, NJX, I agree with you in some ways, but I think because this was the open conversation now, anyone can freely do it. A lot of people had downloaded this last week, in fact, when they could, and now they're able to jump in, even if for a few hours. And it does dampen it. And I think that the problem perception I'm seeing on Twitter is people in those conversations, they'll say things like, oh, remember guys, I thought this was not meant to be a beta. This looks like a beta because you said it was a demo, but it's not working. And that's a little bit short-sighted to an extent. But, you can see their point. Like they've come in fresh with this open demo in mind to see whether or not this is worth the investment. And they're having those challenges, which is fair. It's a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, I'm not being some corporate shill by saying it's a great game, but once you're in and you're playing, it's a great game. Like,
no one disagrees with that.
I think no one. I haven't come across anyone that's turned around and gone, do you know what? This game is actually whack. This game actually sucks. Like, I'm not having fun playing this game. So I think
everyone says I'm having fun. You're right. No one. I won't doubt that. Yeah.
So I think people just need to look past the initial issues that people are having. Like it's, I being a big Division player, right? There was so many problems when we first started playing the Division. There was a famous moment in the Division where they just hadn't thought, right? When you first loaded into the Vision, you had to go and talk. You had to go to a laptop, right? And you had to go and activate yourself on this laptop. However, only one person could use this laptop at any one time.
We were all lined up,
and everybody had to line up. Like, you're in a video game, and you literally had a line of people because you all couldn't use this laptop at the same time. You know, Destiny had a mountain of problems, right? You know, you played like Rise of Iron, you couldn't get in for 10 hours, right? So I think it's just perception, and it's if you're used to playing these type of games, then you get used to it. If you don't play these type of games, you're not used to online or MMO like based games, then you're going to be a little bit put off by it. Or if you play single player games where there is it's just a loading screen, then you might be put off by it yourself, and you might hold off for a couple of weeks, watch a few more streams. But you should really judge a game by what its playability is like and how much enjoyment you have from it. And you know what? If you don't want to pre-order the game, don't. Because actually your best option is to go and get EA Access. If you've got an Xbox or a PC, go get EA Access for like £1. EA Access on Xbox is £1 at the moment for the first month.
$1, yeah.
It's £1. Go get it, £1. You get the game on launch day. You get the game on the 15th. You get 10 hours to play it, and then if you don't want it, you just delete the subscription. I don't know any other AAA titles that give you that flexibility.
Well sold.
Yeah,
I'm gonna buy more.
Buy more.
But we were talking before about the Javelin fashion. Did you have any? We were looking at the screenshots in the fashion channel on the Discord, and we're looking through a few, and we thought we'd maybe pull a couple up that sort of stood out. I did a bit of a summary for the VIP demo, and so we'll talk about that probably separately on the YouTubes and the Twitters. But before we do that, just having a look at the open and looking through the fashion shots there. Anything that stands out for you that you've seen?
Okay, let me just put the fashion shots out on stream. Where is my deck split? There we go.
Waves Panda asked a question. It also states a point. I don't think you can get the full game on EA Access. It's only if you buy the. Yeah, it is the full game, mate. You get the full game, but you only get access to that full game for 10 hours.
It's EA Access, not.
That's access.
Not Xbox Game Pass.
That's correct. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, but it's still the same. Still the full game, and all your progress will obviously go across to your future play after. Once that 10 hours expired, but you won't be able to do that, of course, until the 22nd of February.
Yeah. All right, so we're now in our freelancer fashion segment of our Discord.
What have you got?
I'm starting right at the bottom. So we've got Mummy Marie 42. Simple. Very nice.
Oh, where's that? I can't see that. When was that? Oh, just recently. Yeah.
Oh, I'm starting right at the bottom. That's the anchor point.
Yeah, got it. What if you scroll up and have a look? There was one that stood out that I thought was pretty swell.
I'm liking the Power Ranger one from Woo.
Yeah, that works. That's a pretty good one.
Pink Ranger.
Aleon has posted a few good ones from both the VIP and Open. He's got a nice storm happening there. If you scroll up.
And I think that's another thing that people have to say is with the Frostbite really does allow you to play around with some really good camera angles. Like if you remove the HUD and you start doing some running around, you get some really good nice shots. Oh yeah, Leon, he's got some really nice shots actually.
Yeah, are they on the Twitch? Are you showing those on the Twitch?
Yeah.
Or? Oh.
Slight delay, sorry.
Oh no, you're good, mate. Yeah, it's all good. But yeah, we'll probably do like a reel, like a showcase reel that I wanted to do, and just to call out people that have been tagging, because I think it's just a real good way of sort of celebrating people's efforts and hopefully giving just a bit of fun and a bit of visibility. I know those little things, little shout outs like that make me feel like I'm part of something. Back in the division, I think I got that, and hopefully we can create that here.
Oh, this is part of that bug. Yeah, where is it? Where was that? There we go. So apparently there's a bug with a jellyfish where it's VFX. It just carries on even afterwards. So you basically get this like sparking coming from your suit for like eternity, which is pretty cool.
That sounds like a good bug.
Yeah.
People, of course, are starting to get struck. They didn't realize that, of course, that lightning is active in the world. Takes a portion of health.
Oh, come on, deaf puppies! Look at them, pink. People are loving the pink actually.
Yeah, all power to them. There was one there from. Did you see the one from NJ Highways? Yeah, it was NJ Highways. It's about 10 hours ago. And it's basically got like pink fishnet stockings all over it.
Oh no, that's the Louis Vuitton look.
Oh, the Louis Vuitton look.
It's the Louis Vuitton look.
Yes. I think I tweeted that. It said something like Javelin in Prada or something like that. It looks quite well.
Yeah, gold's pretty popular. Yeah, do you know, what's everyone else in chat like? How much time are they? How much time are you all spending?
Yeah, give us the numbers.
Actually doing. Oh, we're about to get. Well, yeah, I just got electrocuted in game. That was funny.
Oh, nice.
How much time are people spending actually doing customizations?
Into here, curiosities on that one, no doubt. Another part of this, of course, with Interceptor is that it seems to be very popular. I mean, Storm is, of course, well, but I'm seeing a lot of people brandishing their fashion with Interceptor. And there's a pretty interesting, I'm not sure if it's a bug, hopefully it may get taken out, I'm not sure. But essentially, so you fly in flight, but you cancel that with a melee. And then you cancel the melee with a dash. And you basically do a 180-degree turnaround without even, like on the spot, like an in-air pivot, 180 degrees straight to the other direction.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not sure if it's a bug, but it's there's lots of little nuances people are starting to find out now, which is really exciting. You can really get to see people getting used to the control mechanisms and starting to really have a play in the air. There you go, K-Shot. 80 hours in the really impressive.
80 hours in the demo.
Is that including VIP? Holy moly!
Damn.
That's not a lot of. He's busy.
Now this is that's actually a really nice looking Interceptor. Who's this dude? This was by the Fist Bump guy. I quite like that. I don't know if you've seen that in chat, but that's actually pretty cool.
Fist Bump guy.
Yeah, he's right at the bottom. He's just posted.
Oh yeah. Nice recent one. Yeah, go back down there. Oh, I did see this. The Joker, man. This is the Joker. Yeah, that's great. I like that color scheme. Really nice. So are you more of a worn and torn kind of Javelin, or are you more
no, I'm
shiny?
I'm a shiny and new. Yeah, I haven't really played around with the wear types too much. I've just gone new all over. So
yeah, nice. Yeah, I like I like the weird look. I think it's gonna. A lot of people I think will go for that, and it gives it a real sort of natural example of the in-game action going on.
So probably a big question for me, actually, I guess, or not derailing too much. What are people's hopes or worries around Endgame, given the fact that we have sort of a limited amount of information around what Endgame is going to offer? Does anyone have any views of what they would like Endgame to look like?
Maybe if we sort of summarize briefly what we do know, to give people, I guess, insights if they're not. But so as you know, there's 3 strongholds that you're going to have access to. Obviously, you'll be able to run those at Grandmaster 1, 2, and 3. So it'll give you all the pain and time and joy to gear up and get into those at those levels. But a lot of people have kind of made comment to that, so we can talk about that. So there's 3 strongholds. You've seen one of them, of course, in the demo. You've seen the other one in gameplay footage, in endgame footage. You'll see that on our YouTube, which is the Temple of the Scar. You've got the third stronghold. You've got legendary contracts that you can go out into the free play environment to engage, essentially. You've got crafting, and then just the general free play environment itself.
Yeah.
Is that it? I mean, that's on top of my head. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's right. That's everything that they've announced that you're going to see in Endgame so far. Yeah.
And then the conversations they've used beyond that, the terms that Ben Irving has been using is aspirational content. So it's always been elder conversations and aspirational content. And I suspect maybe today's event is going to be a hint towards that. Or maybe they'll keep that element close to their chest, whether it's a raid-like activity or something sort of more related to the changing environment of the world.
Yeah.
But it's certainly getting, there's questions I've seen on Twitter and elsewhere, and I think people sort of asking, a couple of people said, oh, there's only 3 strongholds? Oh, wow. Dead game's dead. Where's the launch content? I think someone said, is this another division? You know, where I'm going to hit level 30 and then sort of run around with nothing to do. And that's going to be a hard one, because as you've said this before,
yeah.
When you've got to, the most vocal are often the ones that are playing this 24/7 in the first 2 weeks, and they're just going to burn through content that the rest of us Joes couldn't possibly touch.
Yeah, that's right. And I think another thing that people sort of may not remember is that, you know, when you first get into the division, right, they didn't figure out what Endgame was for everybody until probably a year in, right? It wasn't in a good place. Destiny, exactly the same, right? Everyone got bored of what the Endgame loot was going to be. So until people actually start playing Endgame, it's really hard, I think, for any developer to come up with what Endgame is going to look like within the game, right? So, you know, legendary contracts, I know we haven't had the ability to play those openly in public, but obviously I've played some legendary contracts, and they're really long, right?
Yeah, these aren't just sort of throwaway missions. A legendary contract kind of just sounds like you're going out to do a quick thing. They can be 20 minutes, but they could be much longer if you're not geared right.
Yeah. So, you know, legendary contracts can take as long as a stronghold can take.
Yeah.
And obviously it depends what level you do them on as well, depending on what rewards you get. So,
yeah.
But the thing to the real endgame, I think, will be the dynamicness within the whole free play world. Right? So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be, that's sort of part of the conversation, isn't it? Is that I was talking to a few of my mates offline earlier today about that, and that's the same kind of conversation where we know that Diablo has been the constant reference point. Not both John Warner, who publicly has announced that because he loves Diablo, but we've had conversations with Steve Anderson, Bjorn, one of the lead designers and level designers over out at Vancouver, and they've all kind of said the same sort of allusion that they love team-based games, they love Diablo, they loved World of Warcraft back in the day. There's some people that are passionate about Destiny and Division. So you can sort of see that their purpose is with those strongholds is to really get to that perfected model to then really drive to the next Grandmaster and the next Grandmaster and the next Grandmaster, which is really Diablo and much less other games. But I think that also is the danger, because to answer the question, Malta Shotgun, he asked the question there, what do you think about the only 3 strongholds at launch? And that's again, kind of like my points before, the worry is that I think the perception of content is still going to be the clincher here. There'll be, day one, it'll be people like, where's my content? I'm finished. I've done the 3 strongholds. What's next? What do I do? And I don't know if BioWare, I don't know if they can, I don't know how they're going to manage it.
Yeah. We'll just have to see. And I think that's the difference with games, or with games now being live service, is they now have the ability, they even have the lore to be able to constantly change stuff. And it fit into the whole universe, which is what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I guess the other thing, they got the gameplay element there, don't they? I mean, the thing that attracts people, I think, to the title is not just that fun gameplay, but the flight mechanic, and that's just something that I think no one disagrees that that's probably the most fun element of the game. And you can tell that, like, they have, that model was developed so long ago, and that part of the game was always a big part of what Anthem was always going to be, and you can see that other than, I mean, maybe swimming's a bit of a there's a lot of people don't like swimming at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like swimming at the moment.
But flight, no one argues about that. Whatever you're using, it is superb.
Everybody enjoys flying.
Yeah, the questions we got there. The Mechanics SZ. What do you think about PvP mode? Oh, there's been a few debates on
There's been quite a few debates around PvP. I think Anthem, right now, if you look at any game, you got Division, you got Destiny, which probably is, and Warframe to a certain, but no, probably not Warframe. If you take Division and Destiny, if you've taken PvP in this type of world in two very different directions, right? You have the Division, which did a blended PvPvE environment, which was the Dark Zone, which was just an absolute nightmare to be able to balance. So in the Division 2, they've completely normalized the Dark Zone, right? So you put whatever you want on, it's going to normalize it, and so it's just down to the types of builds and play styles that you want in PvP. And now they've got obviously dedicated PvP modes. You got you got Destiny, where you've got specific PvP modes. The problem with both of those games, though, is that you can't. Is balancing weapons specifically across both parts, right? Across PvE and across PvP. If you make it too strong in PvP, then it's probably weak in PvE. If it's too, and vice versa. So it's a little bit challenging. I think Anthem will probably have. I would like to see something along the lines of Gambit, where it is a PvE race, where you've got a boss and you're racing against other teams, and then maybe with something like an invade, maybe something like that, I think would suit this game pretty well. Yeah. So it's more of a tournament style PvE stuff. I quite like the sound of that.
So you basically keep it separate.
Yeah, I don't think all and out like team elimination is going to work, right? There's just your javelins are able to do too much, right? Flying, boundaries, all the stuff that makes Anthem what it is actually make it almost impossible to be able to balance well for PvE, for PvP.
Yeah.
So,
which almost introduces the point, Angex, you raised the point that Mark Darrow did bring up some time ago, and that is that if there was PvP, it would obviously need its own sort of separate suits, abilities, etc. And that's so true. I mean, imagine like just the Storm alone. Just Storm alone in a PvP environment. What? Imagine being in stasis for 15 seconds. What? No. This is not. And then you've got verticality, and you've got environmental. I mean, it would just be, you'd be getting taken out. I think there'll be a minority of people that would have a lot of awesome fun because they'd master, whether it's the meta, whether it's the environment, or whether it's the flight mechanic, but the majority, I think, would just, it would just be cringeworthy. And then, of course, they open themselves up to that whole conversation of, oh my god, PvP's broken. Which, and as you know, we had a chat, when was it? We spoke with a few of the BioWare guys, probably only about a month ago, wasn't it? And it was pretty clear, and I'm just going to say this, like, it's very clear. This is, I know Mark and with all due respect, Ben and Mike Gamble on Twitter, they'll say stuff like not at launch. But from any conversations that we've had, it's not that it's not at launch. It's just not. It's not in the mindset. Like physically, it's going to be difficult, as you know. But I think also philosophically, it's not. Like it's not in their mindset. The philosophy of this game is not about running around shooting each other. It is about social interaction. It is about engagement. It is about team play. That's their focus. They don't want you to be, and you can even say that even in the alliance system, right? That is all about collaboration, working together, team centric, and that's the philosophical point. So I think the answer is, will it happen? Maybe. When? Man, not even post August.
I think the only other game mode that I think I'd quite like is what the Division did with Resistance, where it's where you start with low level enemy, and you get a boss every 4 waves. So it's like it's a horde mode, right? but it scales and gets harder and harder and harder, and you different mechanics and different levels. I think something like that would also be pretty good to have. And that sort of fits along the lines that you get more harder loot the more you progress.
That works.
And it sort of falls in the lines with something like, you know, Diablo's Rifts, right? Or if you had something like the Division's Underground as well, where you're procedurally generated maps.
Or you could go with Malta Shotgun as a suggestion of Battle Royale.
No, fucking keep your Battle Royale, yeah. No Battle Royale.
I sense sarcasm. Well, by the way, did you hear about the Titanfall conversation? Do you hear what's going on with Titanfall? With F2,
they're talking about bringing like a Titanfall Battle Royale mode.
Yeah, Battle Royale, free to play, pilots only, no Titans.
No Titans. So basic, really?
Yeah, but if you think about it, in my opinion, the pilot gameplay of Titanfall was
you don't play Titanfall to be a pilot. You play Titanfall to be a Titan.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the mechanic, like the gameplay mode, like Respawn are so good at the game loop with the FPS environment. Like in the run mechanisms of those pilots are so much fun. So, but they're talking about it now. Like, is this what?
Well, Battlefield 5 they've got a battle royale coming as well, haven't they? So it's, you know, that's true. Everyone's got a bit. It doesn't fit with an Anthem. I don't know. Next thing it'll be FIFA has a battle royale. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. K-Shot88 had a question. I want to know your opinions on guilds and grabbits as pets. Well, those are two very different questions.
What do we think of grabbits as pets?
Well, first one was guilds. So, as we know, there is no guilds. There's no guilds. I think people got confused with alliances and so forth, whereas really alliance is a collective system of kudos points that will give your friends list and your people in your alliance coin to spend. And that's, in a nutshell, that's it. Do you want clans? Do you want guilds?
Well, so I've played the alliance system. So I set up an Anthem Universe clan, or guild, which you know everyone else can rock around with their own title, and they're an alliance, and what that does is it just earns you points, it earns you loot, it earns you. It just earns you stuff for your participation in the world and free play events, which is quite cool. I like that. And it gives you some collective opportunities for loot. What it also does is it helps people who don't have hours and hours of play time to be able to get access to powerful loot on a weekly basis, right? So yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I think Ben Irving said even earlier today that it's not in that sort of focus right now. Obviously, they do want to create a more robust guild mechanism that sort of that expands on the alliance model. But for the moment, just think more work together. The more hours you put in, the more collaboration, the more coins, the more you can spend. So in short, if someone doesn't play much, like I mentioned in our launch bay video, we can, if you're a good leech, you can just let your guys do all the work, and you sit it back in your forge, buying personalizations with all the sweet coin that everyone else is getting you. Yeah.
But anyway, good point there, Njex. You guys are having a conversation in the chat there about PvP, and how I think I said this actually in some ways. I think the guy who mentioned it, who was that? PvP Mechanic SZ mentioned that it'll die without PvP, and I think I said that about a year ago. I would agree at that point that for me PvP was an ultimate longevity to the game's success. But then Njex, you raised a good counterpoint. Njex mentioned, well, what about Diablo? And that's true. I mean, they added PvP to certain games.
And no one plays it.
It's not a guarantee.
No one plays PvP in Diablo, like not at scale. People play rifts, right? They go and do rifts.
No one does play PvP in Diablo.
No. In Diablo, it's all about doing your rifts on hardcore with levels of torment. Like that's what that's all about.
Yeah.
So it's
speaking of which, just a question to the chat. Have you guys seen the launch bay yet? Have you seen our launch bay video? Go watch the launch bay video. I'm not sure if I was the only one super excited about the launch bay. I don't know. Everyone was talking about Endgame, and I know Endgame's important. Don't get me wrong. We've been there, obviously, in today's cast already. But that launch bay, holy crap! There's what have we got? We've got 8 So you've got the forges. You've got 8 forges where you can have your physical javelins. Binary, what were you happy to see that?
Yeah, to be able to jump into the forge, yeah, it's great. Yeah, really, really good. It's just that huge stopgap without having to go into Fort Tarsis every single time. It's a place where you can go, you can pick up a contract, and what you have to bear in mind, right, it's not somewhere where you go to complete your story arc, right? You have to go to Tarsis to be able to do your story arc. But if you're out and you're doing some free play and you just want to do some contracts, you want to earn some coin, you want to just get some loot, then it's a great stop off, right? You want to change the way your appearance, you want to change your loadout, right? Yeah, it's just the perfect place to do that.
Yeah, I think I called it the greatest hits of Tarsus. It basically is. It's like, as you say, you've got contracts, you've got the 8 forges for all your javelins, you can meet with up to 15 other people inside the bay, you can check your alliance status, you can go straight to an expedition or back into Tarsus. It's not like the most incredibly massive, amazing, expansive social hub in the world where you're going to see every player on your server and yada, yada, yada. But I think, as Angex, you point out, it is a good compromise. I'm really happy because we didn't see this last year, and I think the concept of it is not new, but I think the presentation of it is. So I think they were thinking about something, how to do it, and I suspect they've really just sort of hodgepodge, and it is not in a bad way, but it's almost a hodgepodge of kiosks, vendors, of course the paint work and the customization, the personalization, the contracts, and of course the 8 forges. So I think it's a good thing. I think people are going to really enjoy that, especially past maybe 10 hours of the game. There's going to be a point where you're just going to be jacked, to be perfectly frank, of walking around Tarsus. Once you've finished your story, you don't really want to navigate around each marketplace and go to each vendor. You just want to get it done.
Yes.
You want to jump in, do your 15-minute legendary contract, and then pop out. Or jump in, do a stronghold, get out.
Exactly.
Interesting. I was looking at thoughts there in the chat. Another question, K-Shot 88. So he said another question, and how will the story mode be implementing the strongholds into them? That's slightly spoilery, but in generally speaking, they're not directly story elements. Byron, would you? I mean, from the ones we've played,
so the ones we've played, strongholds are available as part of Endgame, right? So you don't actually get to a stronghold until you're level 30, which means
they're contextual, but they're not really story.
No, you've already passed when you get to level 30. In theory, you should have already completed the story arc, right? So
yeah,
strongholds are not in that level 1 to 30 grind. You're seeing a stronghold in the demo, which is being completely scaled back. Like, if you play this as part of actual Endgame, it's a very different play style. Like it's just not the same experience at all. So, we've done a stronghold like Temple of Scar, for example, should take you 45-50 minutes on hard. If you go to Grandmaster, though, you're looking at an hour and a half, right?
So we ran it on a 3-team way back when, a 3-team Storm, Colossus, and Inti on hard. That was back then, wasn't it? Yeah. And we struggled a bit at that final boss. We got there eventually.
Yeah.
If I remember, 2 of us were pretty much down all the time.
Yeah, and that was Temple of the Scar, right? So
that was Temple of the Scar. Yeah. And then, yeah, that's right, Temple of the Scar. And then, so the one we've done since then, of course, is Grandmaster 1. And yeah, and the boss is pretty cool. I like the boss in Temple of the Scar. That sort of
the boss in Temple of the Scar is a cool
mechanical turret thing.
Yeah.
But an answer to the question again, when I said contextual, there's some things you'll see in the strongholds that obviously relate. There'll be some elements that you'll see, some things you can pick up, but by and large, it's not really about your it's not your story. You know, remember the concept of my story, our world. Stronghold is more the philosophy of our world that you're sharing with 4 other players, outside of, you know, Helena Tarsus and the lore of Tarsus, etc.
Yeah, that's right.
And Apams has said, "Be right back." Thanks, Apams. That's the best comment of the day. I'm just chilling.
Also, what are your opinions on Stronghold speedrun leagues, but a kind of leaderboard in game for fastest times? Yeah, I know that. Okay. I know that the guys over at Anthem Insider and Freelancer Codex, they did like a Premier League, which was like a run through. Stuff like that will appear all over the community, dude. Like, that's where the community has time to shine, to be able to create those type of things. Like,
yeah, there might be something official at some point, given the nature of, you know, what BioWare could do with the type of game. And they've said pretty specifically that it is something that they can create, like the way they've built the game. Unlike other games, Destiny, the design mechanism means that they can plug in and pull out a little bit easier than they have with previous games. And I know Bungie have had, I think, that struggle in some ways to a certain extent with Destiny. And of course, most developers do. But hopefully that means we can have a more organic and changeable environment. Like, we're actually going to see those adjustments and those transitions, not like, you know, every 6 months with a content drop, more like, you know, every few weeks, if not before then, with the changes to the environment through Shaper Storms or Cataclysms or whatever. But anyway, that's me speculating. But from what we've seen and what we know, I think that's a big fun to look forward to.
Agreed.
So
any other questions as we start to wrap?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to duck off in a moment anyway. What are you gonna do now? You're gonna jump in. You're gonna get some game on.
No, so I actually have a new gaming chair arriving in the next 45 minutes. So I'm gonna drop off.
Can you live stream that?
Can I live stream that? Yeah. So I'll be back on in about an hour and a half.
We want an official unboxing of the gaming chair.
Official unboxing. Look, I'm looking forward to getting my fat ass on a new chair. I got a Noble chair coming, so a Noble Hero I've gone with.
Hey.
So
tell me it's Anthem branded.
I wish it was Anthem branded. Unfortunately, not. So, but actually, it's branded with Big, that esports team from, was it Belgium? Because that they were the only ones that had the nice white design, which is a bit of a shame.
There you go.
But yeah, so if you're interested, guys, I'm going to be back on in about an hour and a half. So we're probably looking at about 1:30 GMT, and I'm going to be on all afternoon, pretty much waiting, running around, doing some strongholds, doing some games, literally waiting for this world event. So hopefully, if you're not playing, then we can enjoy this world event together, and try and just sort of see exactly what it's all about.
Agreed. Jump in the Discord, which of course is discord.anthemuniverse.com. Of course, Binary, they can find us at Twitter.
Yeah, or you can find us at Twitter, which is Anthem Universe, the same as we're here. You can also find us on YouTube, which is youtube.com. And you can actually type Anthem Universe. We've now got our own unique URL now. We don't have to do that. You can join us at our website, where you have anthemuniverse.com. We've got an amazing dev tracker on there, so if you don't have Twitter, or you struggle with Twitter trying to find all the decent information, then go to our website, and we have a dev tracker across Reddit and Twitter, and all the information that you need is pretty much there. I know it's pretty popular with a lot of YouTubers, but you know, the main thing around Anthem Universe is our Discord, right? It's freelancer upon freelancer sharing builds, asking questions, talking about lore, creating stuff around Grabbits, talking about game tech stuff, their builds. We've got a bot room. We've also got a stream team as well, which sort of be streaming. They're streaming all through the weekend. So if you're interested in a curated team of Anthem streamers or Anthem-centric streamers, check them out over the demo this weekend. They're in the affiliated streamer channel. If you're not an affiliated streamer, then we do have a non-affiliated streamer for you to post in. Just be part of the community, engage, and we'll look at an application to become an affiliate extremely close to the time. I will say this though, over the next two weeks or so, definitely make sure you're following us on all the different areas, as we will start to ramp out giveaway for games, giveaways on in-game currency, and stuff like that in the build up to launch. So just make sure that you're just following us around and generally just being part of the active Anthem universe community, really. And we appreciate and love every single one of you for being part of it, and especially joining us on a Sunday morning today. So I really appreciate your time.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
Fuck the Oscars.
Totally agree. And of course, there's more capture footage that we'll be sharing on the YouTube. So do subscribe and say hello. If you missed today's cast, that's all good. Jump on YouTube. It'll be up there in a couple of hours or shortly, the next day. And I think we'll wrap it there. So for Binary Numb, I am Ogaz. We are at Anthem Universe. Thank you for joining us, Javelins freelancers. We will see you next.
Over the wall.
Wow.